Hey, what do you get with an isekai with girls trying to save the world and return home? You get every magical girl anime. Hey, at least there's Gundams in this one. There's something about the magical girl or shoujo genre that gets people towards it. For girls, it's the idea of being special and chosen to help the world from evil. And for guys, I'd say more or less the sister genre to it, the shonen genre. And really the differences between them alters more on how the plot is more structured. But pretty much, I'm just gonna say this, if you've watched anime before, you probably will understand how the plot goes with these, but what do I know? But basically, if you really want to know the difference, magical girl animes pretty much just focuses more on character development and relationships, while the shonens are more targeted towards the fight scenes. Basic as that. Okay? With girls fighting to save the world and get their husband and become a trad wife or whatever she wants. Boys, it's more just fighting the fight, just save the world and do whatever they think. Okay, before I have the breakdown, God, who's helping me with this? Just play it. Just play the intro. Magic Knights Rayearth is a manga that circulated from November 1993 to April 1996, with getting a television series in October 1994 that ended in November 1995, and having 3 OVAs in 1997. But since we're watching the anime here and not the OVAs, this video is going to be long enough for my standard, but let's just, keep those for the sideline. But I'll give you a basic synopsis. This series takes place in, as of the time, modern 1990s in Tokyo, with 3 8th graders from different schools take a trip to the Tokyo Tower, in which they'd be transported to a different world to help this person named Clef, trying to stop Zagato from destroying their world called as Saphiro. Well, not to get deeper into the story, but the planet runs upon the chosen one of the pillar, which is the princess, and Zagato captured her and keeping her captive. So it is the job of the girls to bring peace to Saphiro. And before we get deeper into the first episode, as they're gonna get ambushed and pretty much have their first tragedy, let's get to know the girls. Hikaru, she's the one in red, the kind tomboy that is the de facto leader of the group, but yet they're all kind of spirited as a unit. But she gets the spotlight later on and kind of comes home with it. But if I have to kind of give her a description of her personality, it's more headstrong with optimism sprinkled in, but still acting childish in a lot of ways. But the others keep her at bay with her maturity, and out of anything that you definitely do see is more how that affects her later on. And when I say later on, I mean later on. But if anything, it's easier for you to remember these characters. First time I did watch it, I just said fire for Hikaru, so once I got used to her name. But then you have Umi, she's the blue one. She's the typical girl with elegance and, with the tall figure. She's always more temperamental with a lot of these things, but yet, out of the 3, she tends to be more skeptical about the world Saphiro and wanting to go back home. But she's good-hearted in a lot of ways and tends to lend a hand out. She's represented by the water elemental. And then there's Fu. She's the last one of the group. She's green and yellow, but she's more quiet out of the 3, but out of the trio, she's more strategic in her logic, and her ability of healing does help that. I know that it's a little bit of a spoiler, but keep on with me. But, out of anything that you do see, she's calm and polite. She usually gets the team out of trouble, and she's represented by Win. But the last thing I do want to say I did forget is, If you watch it for the dialogue, you'll definitely see why people did enjoy Fu in a lot of times.
Doesn't everyone think that Miss Umi and Sir Makona get along together quite well?
while falling into a new world and gets attacked by Zagaro's forces. And with no weapons, no bitches, no life, what do? Run, of course, and they dash into an old building. That's where Perseus is.
You sure fell for it, Makona. You always get away with making a mess of my study. Now, what would be a fitting punishment for you?
Is a blacksmith and one of Clef's students. After exposing what happened, Perseus tells the girls to fight with these weapons. They go on it, and how a weapon is chosen. Basically, it's an easy way to kind of get like a view of each of the girls, where Hikaru gets a sword, same with Umi, but it's a longer sword, or then Fu gets the bow. Oh, this is kind of just foreshadowing of like how their strategies are. And I like to say, hey, it is smart in character design when you see more of this, where you kind of just see how characters are made, of how their personalities are more representative of their weapons in a lot of ways, and it does make sense. And especially for Fu, where you can definitely see it in her character already, with how she's more timid in a lot of ways, and Umi getting her superior and kind of giving them a differentiation, because being tall and slim does do that for you. And out of anything, it kind of just overall just round out Hikaru in that way of structure. Tangent aside, but after defeating the monster, Perseus tells them that she'll be making a weapon tailored for them, but they have to use the ones right now. Where basically now the first main adventure, besides saving the princess, is now trying to find a scudo, which it's this really rare material for them to pretty much become the magical knights. But as of now, they have to go and find the Spring of Eterna, and they get lost in the Forest of Silence, and luckily they meet a wandering swordsman, Furio.
People call me Fario, so I figure you guys must be pretty dumb or something. Walking around the Forest of Silence with no weapons. That's like begging for monsters to come out and eat ya.
He's a wanderer that helps the girls out and gives them the route to get out of the forest, with Fu, who helps to stop what's going on in the forest.
For the way out of this place. It should be obvious we go our separate ways from here. I want you to have this. Use it to make a wish, and I'm pretty sure it'll be granted.
Hey, what?
And now back on track with the group on their journey, they get trapped at the local village inn because of a dark magic. It's crazy. But after destroying the monster, they find out what's doing this, and it's Aeson, the sorcerer, with Umi being her and Fu taking care of her wounds. Hikaru takes the chances and faces her, and anger boost stops Aeson.
They're the best friends I've ever had. Hikaru! Flame arrow! Yeah!
The same magic.
But with one final shot, Umi, it's the final blow before showing how their friendship has developed this quickly on.
It's all over. Ice missiles!
Water! Dragon!
Later or the next episode, they find the spring, but finds it in 2D, and they enter it, but not knowing what they'll be facing is their biggest fears. Their fears of regret, but figuring out who did this. It was Aeson again. But I enjoyed this episode on the fear part, because you can definitely see what's going on with the characters of when they left and what was their situations they face in the real world. Being loved, one's facing themselves, and the one with love of their pets, of their pet betraying them. But going through this episode, at the end, they get new armor and escaping out of the spring with some escudo. With them retrieving the materials and returning to Perseus, they learn why their armor evolved, but before she can finish, we see another card in Zagato's hand.
Adelante, I'm glad you came. You and I are gonna have some fun today, okay? Take a look at my hands. Good boy, Adelante. Go get it!
This is Ascot. In RPG's terms, he's a beastmaster, and he attacks the building with his creatures. With now the mission to protect the base, and they face the monster, but with things falling all together. Perseus passes on.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Yeah. Trust me. Pain will come for all of us. But finishing her tools for the girls, 2 deaths in the episode. This got dark too fast. Next episode with Fu keep in contact with Ferio. We figure Ascot plans because of Ferio. The old trick of trying to get them onto their side. But really, this is more of a spotlight episode with Fu. Well, this is because of what the girls thinking that Ferio will turn on them. But Ferio is actually really helping them out with the communicator. And with Fu taking on the beast and showing the relationship developing with these two. And honestly, if I have to say anything about this episode alone, I actually really enjoyed this episode because you can actually see the undertones of it. But out of anything that I will say is this, that I think we can just kind of see the characteristic of Ascot more as well, because Ascot is kind of stupid, but he's not stupid as of being an idiot. He's just stupid because he's a kid. Hey, remember Hikaru's fear? Here it is, the episode with it being Ascot's fault. After Ascot fails for a 3rd time, we get it talking from Caldina, but Ancelone is tricking him to team up and freezes him and Umi Copenseeth into a dream. Hearing Umi gets her wish to go back to Tokyo, but like the spell that was cast, everyone is frozen. But realizing that she re-emerges and defeats the witch again, returning everything back to normal, at least learning why this mission is important.
Hikaru, Fu, we cannot go back to Tokyo until we finally save Saphiro. Yeah! Until that day, please wait for my return.
On to the next episode with Makona pointing out that there's a rune god, and there's the girls to get into the underwater capsule. Now, the rune gods are these legendary beings for the Magical Knights that must be completed to become one. Thought it'd be ordinary magical girl anime, but no. They hooked us in with Gundams, baby. Trust me. It does get cool. It does get cool. Trust me. But with the water challenge, meaning that Umi's challenge, but the girls right now have to take on Ascot's sea creatures while the challenge is taking place. With the twos being doubtful, Umi comes with the rune god and with the trust to finish what the girl started with Ascot, with her proving her heart and their challenge to become one and saving their friends and not just for herself. After that, we see what Furio is up to, and somehow is connected to the princess, and seeing the girl's fate. But we see who's the antagonist of this episode, Caldina.
You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours.
What do you want?
Money. What else? You just have to pay up and... I changed my mind. If y'all kill those strangers out there, I won't tell Lord Zagato.
Strangers?
Those 3 girls that are just now entering your village.
Huh?
With her mind-controlling power, she tells the village to kill the girls or go like the mayor. After, Ferio gives more settings to the girls at the time of crisis, but out of anything that does happen, Ferio helps the girls by taking on Caldina in the game of cards. Him getting bamboozled
Guess it's best I'll be going, yo.
Dina escapes with the money, and this is just another episode just to introduce a new villain. If anything, if I have to really give the plot of these episodes, it's more that they get these villains more of a spotlight for now, but once it's over, it's over. But I actually do like Dina's character in this way, where she's actually not just killing them with just being this menace character. No, she's actually a strategist in some ways, where if anything, the only thing that gets in her way is the greed. Next episode, Makona is running off, and the girls figure that they have to get up to the mountain for the next objective. While in the bushes, Dina and Asuka is lurking from behind to stop the girls. At least we see character dynamics. With climbing the mountain for the girls. After falling off the mountain, because of how the ground is shaking, they start to go square one on the ground, figuring that there has to be the same thing occurring. But Hikaru takes one for the team and lets a tree fall on her, and it's actually an illusion. But being playful, it was the whole episode of figuring out these illusions from Dina. But Asuka actually helps the girls, because being a kid and not listening to her, Asuka gets a lesson in understanding of feelings for peers and friends around them. With Asuka conversating and Asuka admitting not caring for the Knights, still wants to get the money. That's from Dina. Dina sneaks, attacks the girls, and gets Fu separated into this with a southern accent.
Don't listen to the bells!
With Dina and putting them in a trance. So the episode revolves around Fu getting the girls to snap out of it, with actually seeing as much as Dina as a threat with her abilities of mind control. We've seen it in a couple episodes before, but this just takes a bigger stride here. But after explaining why of this happening, Fu doesn't defeat the girls, but gets the girls to stop because of what is happening. But Dina helps Asuka. She's defeated by Fu and saves the girls, changing their hearts in the progress. So pretty much we're kind of seeing is that this whole journey is everyone that they'll probably meet is they're going to change them because they're trying to become the Magic Knights and they're assigned to be it. It's formulaic, but it's the good kind of formulaic. Episode 14, while the girls are fighting and finishing it, the girls talk about what they're doing in Tokyo, with them bonding over their friendship and what they were doing there. And we actually see good character relationship with everyone and seeing what everyone was doing before this event. But with Makona going off into their own Hikaru doesn't get hit by the light.
What was that light? Hey, Fu! Omi! Fu! Omi!
And the girls disappear. Now Hikaru calls it to save them, where we do see her determination and saves them with destroying the light. If I have to explain why out of all the characters I would say is my favorite as of the first season, I would say Hikaru, is because this is a good spotlight for her for showing the heart of the team in with her, where I would say it in this way, where I feel like in some ways it's like in a lot of things where you see the person that will become that leader, and it takes time for them to grow into it. And out of any character, she's definitely deserved it in a lot of ways, where I feel like both of the characters, Fu and Umi, has their own niche, but yet Hikaru is kind of just the one that is just a lump of clay, and just someone needs to just get it all together for her and make her this big threat this way. Okay, next episode 15. We see a warrior that's going to get the job done that Zagato is pretty much just saying.
Rune God Wyndham is sleeping. I beg you for permission to go and face them and finally defeat them once and for all. Alcyone, Ascot, and Caldina have each been overcome. Please send me to battle the Magic Knights.
Enova.
And this is Enova. We see him before, or I just didn't show ya, but pretty much he's just been the last one that we do see until now. But we see Ferio jumping with the girls, but he's lurking because guess what? It's a different time. But Ferio finds this girl right before it rains and helps her and brings her to the girls so she can be in shelter. Fu being shocked and giving Ferio the silent treatment and being doubtful of the relationship. But with Ferio out of commission because of the soup and a great position they were in the area to find the Rune God. Fu conflicted with Nova and understanding taking a sort of effort to help others that has helped you along the way. In ways, sometimes you have to do the hard way. 2 Rune Gods down, 1 to go. Hope you're not tired of listening to my voice, because guess what? I am too. But we're on episode 16. We meet Farga, a former guard that's brainwashed by Zagato.
Protect you or the castle from. Lafarga and the rest of the guards were merely employed to combat the occasional monster or two. And of course, Lafarga was known as the strongest swordsman here in Saphiro. Do you think those girls you summoned from another world to become the Magic Knights would be able to stand a chance against him?
No! Please, Lafarga, you mustn't!
We also learned that in combat how the sword works without the user, which it's their element that will help them as it stays on the ground until it's retrieved back to its rightful holder. And fighting Hikaru and loses his sword, or we see the background that indicates that dog choking Hikaru. After getting burned, he snapped out of the brainwashing, and there's another one that joins the good side.
You mean to say you're not one of Zagato's minions?
The princess. I serve and protect Princess Emerald, the pillar of Saphiro. My job is to guard and protect the princess so that her prayers will never be interrupted, so that peace and order will always be preserved. As well, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have now been set free from the nightmare of Zagato's evil magic spell. I know we will meet again.
After that episode, the princess is talking about being saved. We find that Enova's transformation into a beast, but that's the bull gabbit to see them in a fight. Screw it. We're seeing Ferio backstory of her relationship with the princess, being the child that is thrown and telling how to beat Ferio. But after that story, Enova gets
Ferio. Well,
before we say goodbye,
a request?
Yes, I want you to erase all of my memories. As the pillar of Saphiro, you will have to support this world. I want you to have fewer problems to worry about. If I can never see you again, I want to live alone and be sure that I'll never bother you as long as I live. So please, you should try to forget that you ever had a brother too.
Bullied by Hikaru Slash. We on the fast track. Why? Because another Rune God, baby. Woo! But before that, we get many stories about the kingdom. Basically, how the pillar is set up is by the heart of the ruler, and without giving spoilers, outcomes like rejection, we get to keep going. So as the flame takes her, we see the challenge that looks and shows up. After the blast that reverts their armor, nothing. Larga shows up and helps the girls out in the past. But after Hikaru's protecting the girls, it is asked why she keeps fighting. Then the Rune God helps her, and with how righteous she's been to protect everyone in Saphiro, the Rune God also armor. No, I meant armor. But with the Rune God finally seeing the potential, they on the Rune Gods, and now set to save the princess.
Free Magic Knight, thou hast shown unto me the true power of thy beliefs. Thou hast proven unto me the strength of thine heart that cares for thy comrades and the people of Saphiro.
Heading there, the princess talks to them and beams the way to her. And healing Zagato? Yeah, okay. Yep, now I can talk about this. So with the ruler of Saphiro, the ruler cannot fall in love, in which, as the purity of her heart needs to stable the world. The princess fell in love with Zagato and captured her so they can be together. As the worst will happen, in Devil's Advocate, while you could say Zagato is liberating her, or in that way is formed, but simply the fight going under the girls.
Okay, guys, let's go! Right! Please stop! Please stop!
Getting angry boosts to kill Zagato, with the princess showing her
You defeated Zagato.
She's acting kind of strange.
You killed Zagato. You murdered him. It was you. You're the ones that murdered the man I love. Ah! You'll never get away with this.
in her real form. She takes on the Magic Knights, and this will happen with the girls either way. Or Saphiro won't have a princess, and it will be in shambles. In some ways, I'm intrigued of how the story brings up the effects of responsibility to rule without compassion, and how corrupt can get when it gets affected as that, but with her inner self being the true to rule. The arc ends in a melancholy way, to note as the girls get back to Tokyo but feeling empty knowing the worst shape that it's entered in.
Zagato, finally, I am yours, and only yours, my darling. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't a dream. Hikaru! Oh, Miss Hikaru! Princess Emerald! I want to go back to Saphiro together again. I want to go back and do everything we can to help all those people return their world to the beautiful place that Princess Emerald, the pillar of the land, nurtured so lovingly.
Okay, so that's part 1, season 1. And with that, what do I think? Well, rewatching it for the third time, I have to say this, I really enjoyed the story and how simple the plot was, with the villains going far to share the episodes, not to let them be one note. But I'll say, from the first time, loving the design wise, especially like Fu and Hikaru, but out of anything, I will say that you can definitely see the spotlight on Hikaru, but this is just a basic story of good and evil, and heading into the next part, we're seeing more of compromised, a real big story, and a story about oneself.
そばにいる。
フェリオ、君もマジックライトになれる。ふーちゃん、言葉を覚えるマジックボイスオブ登場。
Hey, did you know that there's 2 openings to the anime? A on the state side, with the opening of the Japanese version just translated to English?
Hold on to that dream. Tomorrow knows where and when it's true.
You can hear this one without the guitar in the dub, but that was distributed around. While the other one was made by Ocean Dub, being more of the era of it being historic about the anime. I mean, the intro is cool and all, but it's cringe in a charming way.
Into a mystical, magical world to fight for what is right. 3 young girls together alone, the spirit of the Magic Knights. The power of the arrow, the power of the sword, the power of the strength within. To fight against evil, to fight against fear, to fight until they win.
Like, come on! Do you hear this? Cheesy Ocean Dub at its finest. Okay, Season 2. The girls get transported back because of what I said before about the recap, where Hikaru really feeling homesick about Saphiro. She gets her wish, and we see a time skip of what happened. Look at my boy Scott. He went from a child to a man, and all the characters we've seen before, and still with Clef showing that the girls the situation. Well, we forgot about a witch and but wait, nope, my bad. That's a new character named Lances. That's his brother. But pretty much the situation is this: that 3 planets are trying to invade Saphiro. Well, they're countries, but you get what I'm saying. In which there are Autozam, Florida, and Chizeta. Also, yes, my bad. Episode 21 and 22 just flow together as one big piece. But 23, after the conflict, we see what happened to the citizens, and they're all living into the castle by rescuing them by Lances, and with the girls being suspicious of him. Wouldn't blame them for knowing that it's his brother, just for the time of the situation. But episode 24, or with the girls being down with Umi wanting to apologize and more understanding, ending with Perseus to them, gives them the signal. Fu being sad with the world has gone, and Fario going to them to Token, and they had other previous adventures and having a moment. Okay, guys, who's cutting onions here? I gotta know. It's one of y'all. Okay, it's one of y'all that are cutting onions. Stop.
What more do you want from me?
Seriously, I need to finish this. Finally, Hikaru is not being able to sleep, seeing Lances is up and helps the little girl after chatting and being accused of liking Lances by the fairy Vermea.
The spirits, you know. And oh, my sweet Lantis, as you can see, he's very handsome. So, while I'm usually easygoing, I'm quite tough against rivals in romance. Rivals in romance?
Hikaru, look outside the window.
And they see Autozam's leadership, and smart thing, Hikaru says that they want to talk before fighting. That's pretty much like the whole philosophy of Hikaru's character for this part, is that she wants to more understand the situations, because, not knowing what was at stake with the first time, she wants to, figure out what's going to happen. But after small dialogue, Lances also fights with them before the episode ends. Asalone comes back out of the woodwork and ruins the plans, and Umi being confident but ignorant, getting hit by a blast, and the episode ends.
Long time
legendary Magic Knights.
She's still alive! There's no way that middle-aged lady's magic could hurt a rune god! Umi! Miss Umi!
Now with Aesion admitting that she felt humiliated and not valued by him, the girls come back to protect each other. And after setting shows, the girls try to get Aesion on their side, but with rage brewing in her and her voice, as in Hikaru dreams, is controlling in Aesion. Now, I'm not saying that, Hikaru's taking her over, but no, I'm more just saying it's the same voice that she's hearing. But the most interesting thing is we also hear another voice in Hikaru's mind that is telling that she's going to be coming for her. But back to Rune God talk, the eagle talks to the girls and learns that Lantis talked about them before. But playing diplomacy with Eagle, they learn that Eagle wants to have the power of the pillar to help his country. After that, we hear
Of Saphiro, there can only one pillar be. No one other than me. I am the one that shall become the new princess.
a new person come in, and it's Chinese theme. Ooh. This is Asuka from Foreign. With Ego retreating for this episode, it's about her. She's a child, bratty, but she's learning how to become a princess. She uses art for her abilities, and with her abilities, as long as she draws it, it becomes an illusion and attacks people if it wishes. But once the paper burns out, it stops being functional. But with this, we also see what Eagle is doing, and it is recording data, and this is why Eagle is kind of presumed as the biggest threat out of the three countries, because Eagle and the whole country of Autozone are known to be very good at analyzing. But with the light with Hikaru, we see finally Nova, and getting out of the doubt, saying and being with them only will push to their death.
I'll make sure that you die together.
Next, Hikaru still hears that voice, or that she hears in her dream, but before, with Umi calling her out with her tendencies to hide her pain, and yet Nova in her mind spreading doubt. Say they'll meet soon. Later, they show how the pillar works by Clef. Basically, we're the one that can support the crown's energy as it molds into their head. Later, we see a flashback of Lantis and Zagatos talking about the pillar. Also, we finally see Aesion follow the now character that we've been hearing about, and her name is Lady Debonair. Cool fact, she's an anime exclusive character, where she pretty much is the negative energy of Saphiro had. So, with all the doubt in the world, and even doubts of Hikaru, it's all absorbed into one character. Outside now, we see Hikaru fight a glob monster. We see a cute scene with Lantis and Hikaru. How sweet, with the monster sneaking attacking them. But back to the castle, Fu and Umi gets the story of what happened to the brother. But Ego shows up and plans to take out Hikaru, since, being alone and without the girls, it's an easy time to do this. But for my Gundam fans, here's a good fight here. But to keep things short, Lantis helps out Hikaru by distracting them, but she gets captured either way, while Aesion shows up to cast out, and a snowball pretty much just rolls into episode 29. While the girls are coming after to help Hikaru, Lantis and Aesion is taking on with a fight, as we know that a middle-aged witch is just a curtain jerker and will just take the pinfall. Like, come on. Come on, we know this. If you watched the earlier part, you know this. But back to this. Hikaru meets Nova as she keeps giving her doubt, despair, before waking up. But the rundown and spoilers is basically all three will have their moment to shine and pretty much help Sephiroth by kinda showing how righteous they are to stop them in a lot of ways. But I think the biggest thing that we do see is all the reasons why of wanting the pillar. When we get to it, we'll get to it, but pretty much understand that all these people do have a valid reason why they want the pillar system. Episode 30. Nova fights Hikaru.
Sephiroth!
Wait! Nova!
But with Nova's strength and taking down Hikaru, the other knights gets involved and transporting them into a dimension.
Where am I?
Hikaru, finally we meet. Finally. Hello, Hikaru. My name's Nova. I'm the one who's going to kill you, Hikaru.
But in simple terms, this is just a spotlight episode to show Nova and her abilities. And with her transporting to a new dimension, so we see how similar they are to each other. The rundown of this is just an evil character that is just simply identical.
Wow.
Read the lines, okay? But we also see Lady Debonair. Hikaru is taken down into the process of retreating, but before the episode ends, we see their conversation about Eagle and Lantis.
Well, that young lady seems to have vanished into thin air. Could that be magic as well? Hikaru really is a cute one. So, I guess it turned out to be true that only those summoned from another world can become the legendary Magic Knights.
As I have told you, this world Sephiroth is a land that cannot exist without a pillar. I do not believe the pillar system is correct. That is why I am here. I don't want to become your enemy and fight you, Eagle.
We get back to Asuka heading back and meeting the last kingdom. And that kingdom is Arabian theme. And it is the twin sisters of Chizeta.
So this is Sephiroth, the magical land of the will.
So that's Sephiroth, It's tiny. I may be mistaken, but I think it's almost about the same size as our country. Oh!
The battle over, we at least see the boys interrogate Aesione to see who is this Lady Debonair. But pretty much Aesione gives them the gist of things, calling her the doubt of the people, and she will win the war. But after bath time, and we'll not get into that, you will have to do your own research because it's not this kind of channel. But Alerted about Chizeta, Fu and Umi goes and talks with them while Hikaru is protecting the people. After bantering between the sisters, Tana and Tetra, we see what's their getup and it's genies, and they immediately go into the attack with the Magic Knights.
What in the world? Those things look really gross! Ah! Hey, Boo!
The duo uses the power of dancing with their abilities, but remember that diplomacy, this is where it happens. And I'll just say it in this way, another set of spoilers, where basically for them to get them to stop, they are going to have to play ball with them, as we've seen with Hikaru and Eagle, but it's their own thing where Umi has the Chizeta girls, while Umi has Farden to deal with, but back to it. But as we see in the end of the episode, with Hikaru's growing, Nova states that, in stating of how everything is happening because of a reason, and Nova loves her. Episode 33 starts with Hikaru having flashbacks about the fight with Nova and all that worked up in heat. And Asuka gets the courage to help out in the battlefield and admits that he has a crush on Umi. Go for it, Tiger. Before he actually does that, Caldina dances to get him unconscious to basically kind of calm him down. Before we see Perseus talking to Clef, and we're talking about her sister. Wait, what? So basically, in the anime, that's not Perseus. That's Ceres. And to explain and to know more, doubt to hurt the moral of them, but in the manga, it's pretty much Perseus, but in the anime they just decided to just kill her off. It's just considered a plot hole more than anything. It's weird once you notice it, but you really shouldn't notice it in the first time watching. I noticed it when I was watching. I was more shocked by that because I didn't notice it in the first part, and I'm usually good at noticing those parts. Where basically it's just a little drama feel to kind of get her some more character, to kind of say that she will help and it's for the good. But anyways, after seeing that, the fairy is seeing Nova, but not knowing, but we see what's in doubt does to someone, as Nova has entered Hikaru's mind, bringing hard times and hindsight, and that messes her up, knowing that the world that's happened is because of her. As Nova tries to get into Hikaru's side, but overall Perseus is helping Hikaru because of this, and that's how the episode ends. Where now you can see what I was saying earlier about mind versus self. In Hikaru's mind, Nova is getting onto her good side, but with bargaining on her to chip down and sent visions of changing of what people have said, it's pretty much what's happening to Hikaru is given false realities to kind of get her on her side.
Don't look like you're gonna start crying, okay? Because everything that happened to us was all your fault. Umi?
If you had not been present at Tokyo Tower that day, we would never have been summoned to Saphiro by the pillar.
Fu! Umi! Fu! We all agreed that no matter what happened, we would never let anything get between the three of us. And the same way we three fought to become the Magic Knights, we've got to fight together now for what we really believe in our hearts is right and true. No matter what happens to us now, we'll stay together till the end and fight as one. No way.
I disagree with that as well.
Umi? Fu. There were 3 rune gods in the legend. So if the 3 of us hadn't been at Tokyo Tower together that day, we probably wouldn't have been summoned to Saphiro by Princess Emerald.
The 3 of us have no obligation to Saphiro in any way.
I simply don't understand the logic in having to fight to save a land that is not our own.
But Fu!
Saphiro isn't the land we were born in, and it certainly isn't our own world. What happens to this place is none of our concern.
This can't be. I've had just about enough of being in Saphiro. I just want to forget about the past as soon as I can and hurry back home to Tokyo. Don't say that! We could never forget the battle that began when Princess Emerald summoned us to Saphiro.
With doubts of truth. And now, she can only remember what hardship they went through, as she keeps promising to return to the light side. But Nova has a secret weapon using her crush Lantis. As symbolic, she falls from the light, and deep into her intrusive thoughts and doubt. Even Clef and Lantis is feeling this, by the way. With Lantis talking to the little girl that he helped earlier, showing that she has a heart, but with her heart, she's finally failed Perseus and wants to try to get her back. I think this episode and this scene really shows how doubt can really grow on people and how people can lose themselves in a lot of ways. I think if anything that we do see is how false realities do occur, or when you keep remembering and more things of when you doubt on something, it more kind of rolls up into a big snowball. But I think if anything, especially with this, is, never lose yourself, by the way. Especially with things, you always have a reason to do something. So, make sure that you understand where you're coming from with things and understanding other perspectives to get people onto your side. But fighting with minds, we fight back with Gundams. We see Umi and Fu fighting, and then they fall into their own separate ships. But before the episode, as we see Ego getting plans to take the pillar with the backstory to Lantis and Ego's past, we find out that basically that they're great friends, and I don't know, there's some gay connotations here, but I don't think it's gay, but pretty much it's how good friends they were for a long time with a lot of things being very close to one another, but ending with him pretty much describing that he'll die for the pillar if it helps his people. Episode 35, as Perseus gets Hikaru underlined, it seems like it's going to be getting worse and worse as it focuses on Umi and visiting the twins, as they want to get information from Umi, but she won't budge. But Terra just says the screw it and just decides to go for a duel, with both of them fighting furiously, but breaking a piece of a golden statue. They get at the upper hand, but before the twins' guards come in and defend them. After Terra tries to make peace for now, they more just want to figure out what's the goal for this. As tea time pursues, Umi talks about her regrets and the princesses and explains their situation of what happened to her, as the girls also explain what's happening in Chizeta and how it's overpopulated.
Chizeta is a little cramped.
It doesn't look that way to me at all.
Not all of that land is Chizeta's territory. The land governed by Chizeta is only this big.
Oh, wow! I guess it is a little cramped.
And
that's why they want Saphiro for their country to grow a bit more. Umi tells them the responsibility of the pillar, and pretty much it more leaves with the idea of deciding to wager. But we see what Fu is up to with Asuka, but we'll start with Fu. Where basically Fu is captured by Foreign, and basically what happens with them is this. Asuka really looks upon them, because they have cool robots. Remember when things were cool? Cool, right? But basically the thing that does happen is this, that it's pretty much a test between both, as Fu tests in the skill of archery, where basically they get into this room that changes the world, futuristic stuff, and it's pretty much just whoever can take down the most of these genies will win the wager. And basically when I say Fu mops the floor, I mean Fu mops the floor with her, with ice in her veins and calling her Captain Clutch.
You were the one who decided they should be the targets, Lady Asuka.
Destroying Asuka with this challenge, and Asuka throws a tantrum and gets her guards to attack her.
It seems that foreign must be a country with many Chinese influences, but I think ninjas are distinctly Japanese.
Fu protecting herself and not even harming the guards, she pretty much gets herself safely out of there. But before leaving, she tells about the job of the pillar, as the only thing that she sees is human beauty, and it takes more to do that job. You can't love anyone. But at this moment, we also do see how childish she is, because, you know, as she wants to get more beautiful, Fu kind of just tells her that she's already beautiful, and she has a little moment there.
I become the Pillar of Saphiro! And Princess Emerald, the last Pillar of Saphiro, was said to be one of the most beautiful princesses ever, with hair the color of gold and with eyes the color of the sky. If I can become the Pillar and the Princess of Saphiro, then I can become really, really beautiful like that too!
You're pretty enough as you are.
But before leaving, Vario just comes in and just saves her, and pretty much they just have a little moment about.
And did you ever stop to consider how I would have felt if anything had happened to you?
You don't have to do such dangerous things just for my sake.
That wasn't dangerous at all. I'm glad that you're safe.
Thank you for saving me, Vario.
Well, next episode we see Umi starting to get plans to take out the Chisetsu twins. Asuka finally admits from the boyfriend talks and gets gaslight from what he's saying. Asuka, I feel your pain, buddy. It's okay. Another one will come. But let's get back to the real business here. Hikaru and Nova faces off in their mind once again as she's getting attacked at like a school cartoon exaggerating what bullying does, and Hikaru realizing that the hatred that's caused is the creation of Nova, realizing that what she's doing here. After the crystals were destroyed from Nova, Hikaru gets a boost of power.
To remember your true wish. Didn't you tell me that you would do anything to revive your sword, even if it meant risking your life, Hikaru? Remember the reason you told me that. What is it? What is it you're fighting for, Hikaru?
And gets the upper hand knowing what she'll do, but in reality Hikaru seems to be fine, and before feigning admitting to Lantis that she loves him and drifting off, even with the girl's sense of energy of her being unconscious, plus Lady Debonair presenting herself and tells the girls the sources of the power is dread, with episode 7 with everyone feeling defeated, with episode 38 dealing with Autozam, but we do see Makona flee and leads her into Lantis and have a talk with them about the people and Lantis. The question of what are they fighting for? Hikaru says for herself. But as they talk, Eagle interrupts them, getting their toes with attacking. But as Clef defends the castle, he tells everyone there will be another attack. The girls are set to know that their attack will occur. The girls are back as a trio to stop Autozam's invasion. We at least see how great a strength Eagle is by systematically breaking them.
Magic using water, emphasis on speed, stronger than defense. Magic using wind, emphasis on defense, stronger than offense. Magic using fire, emphasis on offense. That sword has the most power of the three machines. We'll lower their defenses first.
Roger.
But before the episode ends, we see Clef's strength gets dimmed and Acelone is released. Her dark energy releases. Debonair is now in the castle with her monsters. Lantis checks it out and Clef asks Furio and to find Lafarga to fight the monsters. But back to the girls. As battling with Autozom's commander, they start getting the upper hand as Fu heals them for damages, and now Hikaru handling Eagle that blasts with the shield. As Eagle says that we have strong wills for defending what they believe in the fight. Lantis is the first to the scene of the monsters and quickly to take Acelone. Furio and Lafarga meets up and now patrols to protect the others. With Debonair now on the parole to the crown starts trembling and unsettling kicks in as everyone is now saturated outside inside the damage control of the crown. Debonair enters into the room as Eagle and Hikaru races inside and Debonair is set back to the light. I mean, out of all the teams here, that was fast to get the crown. But Lantis, Hikaru, and Eagle is knocked out from the blast, and now we must figure out who is the rightful ruler. We're in a flashback as episode 40 starts with the conversation about the pillar with the brothers, and the princess notices the question that Zagato asked Lantis about the cardinal sin. But after waking up in her bed, Hikaru is assured that everyone's okay as the ceasefire is set with Eagle and Saphiro with his imprisonment. We see Debonair talking to Nova about the situation and tells that Hikaru is even more in love.
You lost to that Magic Knight only because that Master Smith helped her. I believe you told me that you wanted that magic swordsman, did you not?
You know what? Hikaru's even more in love with Lantis than she ever was. I think she finally realized it too.
Then go for it, Nova. Go on and take the object of your desire, my child. And spread even more terror among the people of Saphira.
Pain to gain more power. After friendly hijinks with the kids, as we can see the crown is forming into whoever is the rightful ruler. But now Nova comes out once again and decides to choose violence and commits war crimes by harming children. As before the final blow, Nova plays mind games and tells Hikaru about the gift, and the episode ends.
I know you're in love with Lantis.
As the fight goes on with the Knights and Nova and the others sensing her presence to being here, being similar to Hikaru's, Nova finds Lantis and tries to kill him.
I hope nothing happened to you back there.
But with the shield out of them, it has no effect, as Lantis is interrogating Eagle. After getting the beam of light of her Hikaru into the chest, while Nova goes for the kill and tries to destroy him, at least another blast from Eagle stops him with the string. Nova goes and tells that she has feelings for Eagle, but he doesn't budge. Sigma grind set. As Nova was going to kill him, Hikaru finally shows up and we see the girls get help from the others, and they'll have that focus. After that, Nova keeps playing with her strings and keeps bringing it up about what she did, but dips into another fight another day. She, at this point of heat with me, that I don't want to see her. After bad. We get a heartfelt moment with the girls. But hey, at least Asuka is on the Knight's side and decides to attack Eagle, admitting that she has crushes on Semyon. My boy Semyon. Take the dub. With maturing and understanding the consequences of being the ruler. To keep things short, this is really not a really big developing episode of the plot, but it does have its moments with this.
Energy charge complete. We're ready to fire.
Open fire! The engine has been damaged! At this rate, it'll overheat!
Episode 43, we learn Aesolone was under a spell all this entire time as Lantis wants to stop her and ask Aesolone where she is. But she is too traumatized and it has no help. We see Eagle is plotting to get the crown, and the girls find out telepathy that he finds Lantis and a scuffle breaks. The girls decides to split up where they gotta find where they are, but Hikaru finds them and Lantis gets a beam of light to teleport to them. The race is on. Eagle dashes and Hikaru chases. A blinding light shows a flashback about the princess and the boys. That is as she admitted to the cardinal sin and really couldn't forgive her because of that now. The pain reckoning and the people.
I have known about you and Zagato for some time now. Princess, it's true that you are the pillar of Saphiro, but first and foremost, you are a human being. If you were to wish only for your happiness, nobody could blame you. No one would call you selfish.
Even if everyone in Saphiro forgave me, I know I still wouldn't be able to forgive myself. I could never be happy knowing of the misfortunes that will certainly befall the people of this country.
Oh, I honestly feel sad for Clef. For him not being prepared for this and wanting to show forgiveness, but after the light of the two unconscious, we don't know who's worthy. Lantis tells Clef about the situation and learns the crown will be shaped by one of them. We finally see Chisette's ship with the girls and Umi deciding to finally get the situation, with Asuka joining them hitting to like King her.
All of my friends love you. But it's also because I love you too, Umi.
Well, the kid finally spit it out.
Oh, Ascot, you're so sweet. I love you too. Just like I love Persea, Caldina, Lafarga, Ferio, and all the rest of you guys. Oh! So, Ascot, protect the castle, because that way, no matter who attacks us, I can keep fighting knowing everyone is safe.
Instead of fighting with the genies, they're gonna go for a duel. So Umi will fight both of them in back-to-back matches, pretty much. With at least saying that the first match is being more of a feeler, as Umi is dealing with the hot-headed sister, and Umi wins is with a respectful saving her, but taking the win. Basically, if I have to really describe these matches, it's that they're pretty much just your basic sword matches, but with the next match with her kind of being overwhelmed in a lot of ways, but back to the anime. With at least this in the first match of being a feeler, Umi is dealing with with the calmer sister, and now with round 2, she shows why she's got that dog in her.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
But just basically killing her with offense, not giving her any time to breathe. With her whip moves, Terra saves Umi because of this, because of the respect that Umi had of saving her, and pretty much Umi edges out the win. And keeping the promised to leave Saphira alone. Hikaru feels this and now fighting to get her way to save Atlantis. It looks like she's unmatched before defeating the monster for the time being. The girl gets into the same situation as we see all of them help each other out of the situation and runs towards Hikaru. Clef tells Hikaru about Nova being her shadow, and because of that she is pretty much the shadow part of pretty much her doubts and the emotional covering of Hikaru when she went back to her real time. Lady Debonair and Nova captured Atlantis, by the way, now, and Hikaru tells Eagle about the information as she wanted to apologize to the one person that cared about him the most. With Eagle tells her what love is trying to build yourself back up, tells how people fall in love with no reason. Clef goes to Acione to ask, but she doesn't care and questioning why she's still alive. Pretty much she's speaking in black pill talk, but ending with Eagle and Hikaru and with the idea of the pillars, where pretty much Eagle explains his point of why he wants the pillar system for his citizens, which it's pretty much being automated over there, asking what she would do with the pillar as the episode ends. Episode 47 starts with the two, Hikaru and Eagle, meeting with Clef as the group splits. And Umi and Fu goes towards the tell about the crumbling of the castle. Like I said a moment ago, what Eagle desires, but Clef states the pillar is proofing and asks the question to Hikaru of what she will do with the pillar system. Moments pass and we see an agreement with Clef. Eagle is free and will keep his promise about the pillars. As to Hikaru, the rundown of the situation is pretty much we don't know until later on, but knowing that she can shape the world into her imagination, the Rune God talks to them about the big orb of energy heading towards the castle, and we see Nova in her Gundam, and it looks like it's gonna go down. With Nova getting damaged, getting hands after, they're told about Nova being Hikaru's shadow. As Eagle is back with their team, seeing Nova trapping Atlantis, he decides to go and help them, and wants to help the people of Saphira.
I'm lifting off.
I won't let you go! The only place you're going is sickbay!
I really wanted to shape Autozum's future with my own two hands. But it seems my time has run out. Master Mage Clef of Saphiro has promised to aid Autozum in rebuilding whether or not I'm the pillar. He gave his word. Therefore, I can't just sit back and let the Magic Knights die.
Let me go!
No, I'm going, Jill. When I die, I want to die as a warrior. That's my one true wish.
It's for Atlantis, isn't it?
All right, Eagle! FTO, ready for launch!
As of this moment, all command of the NSX will be transferred to Geo Metro, the sub-commander.
Eagle!
Saphiro's true enemy seems to be more than just Nova. Please, Geo, use this ship to protect Saphiro. Forgive me for being selfish this last time.
Right before the battle ends in front, Ego decides to join in to the battle. Also, note, can we just give a praise to the music of this anime? Like, Jesus Christ, I see this part every time. This part always gets me motivated. Now with the four ready to fight, as they teleport again to that dimension, and getting the momentum, Hikaru plays the defense as Ego's trying to get hit, but damn, my ass would have stayed in this season 1 if I knew shit like this was gonna happen. No worries, as he's still alive, by the way, but she tells the girls of how the Might Heart creates people like Nova. We get to see the truth with the let out of Hikaru and wanting to protect people and others, and Nova thinking that she lies, throwing more blast. Ego takes the hits and this, but says to call Atlantis' name, or this will continue. At least we see why for Hikaru, guys. Let's be happy. With the castle crumbling and the world and the grasp of Hikaru calling Atlantis as he slowly awakens. It's quick stairway to cliff. Fun with the crown room plotting to sacrifice himself so it won't have to go through this again. We see Eagle near death. Atlantis to tell him to use the FTO to attack the Rune God, but uses the barrier to keep her at bay. But Atlantis tells Eagle that he'll escape, and it's not gonna go out like this. Brother, with a dash and a punch to the jewel, Atlantis sets himself free and lets and looks who shows up, and look who finally shows up. We see Lady Debonair is killed for real this time, but with transforming and with rage, Hikaru grabs Nova into the plane and destroys her. As she shouts help from her mother, she decides to kill her.
My rune god isn't strong enough to win, Mother! Mother Debonair! Help me, Mother!
Be gone, along with those Magic Knights!
Wow, sorry, but that is just evil to kill your own child. Like, for real. That is just pure evil. But now with the two down, Fu and Umi, he obliges and lets Hikaru finish what she has started with her inner self. Now with Hikaru, who gets Nova and tells her that heartbreak means that she wants to be one with her emotions, and tells her that she loves her. He apologizes, works with herself. With the girls helping Perseus to get Aeson to tell her where Debonair is, they nearly get it out, but the negative energy destroys her before she knows where the negative is. Now we're in third base, wanting to go home, guys. They set to the dimension, and now they face her. They get the speech, each how they'll lose because of their power, and they're no match because of the negative energy. All Drone's forces is with her, and Dim Autozom help with GL tells them about his last wish, and hitting with the combined blast to get them to stop attacking the others. With the Kaz together, gets the people and tells the citizens about Debonair being a part of them, and they start thinking positively to believe in themselves. With the new surge of energy, they attack Debonair to destroy the evil in people, hearts, and Sapporo is saved.
Let's believe! Curse you, people of Sapporo! Curse you, Magic Knights!
Right.
I hereby rid Sapporo of the Pillar System, and from this day on, Sapphir's fate shall be determined by the people who truly love this country.
As the world goes to normal, we see the girls feel about their journey and thanks everyone in their journey, as Hikaru admits that her feelings of as Atlantis does as well. Now with the girls back in Tokyo for good, as the series ends, even with Hikaru wanting to go back to see the new Sapphiros is going, we end on a note that it leaves people happy.
It was our own will that let us return to Saphiro and allowed us to make things right.
This time, we knew what we were fighting for and we had no regrets.
that's season 2 in the series. Overall, I found this one to be more good and bad in both angles in a lot of ways, but that's more on structure in these ways. But out of more of anything, I felt like that I can totally see what they were coming from with it, but I don't think 10 episodes was enough to have these all combined together. I felt like this needed like another batch of episodes, but that's what I think. But I think out of anything that I will say is that Nova does get a lot of screen time, and I get that, you know, it's her versus herself in that angle for Hikaru, but listen, when you constantly see a villain like that every time, it kind of just not brings much value to a villain like that. And so you kind of say to yourself, hey, she's not bad, but I'm seeing too much of her. You know, how am I supposed to want you more when you keep staying here? But pretty much from that aside, I actually thought the other countries weren't a bad thing, and I thought those were actually good. I think just you can totally see how AutoZone got more appreciation towards it. It more felt like that they needed something for Fu and Umi to do more than anything. But I think the thing I will say is this: for my second time watching this, I definitely appreciate Eagle more as a character compared to the first time. I was like, oh, you know, yeah, he's just some smart, you know, bad guy. But no, I have a new respect for my boy Eagle. If I go and rewatch this for a third time, I'm definitely going to appreciate Eagle more and more. But I think this overall just goes into the sequel cliche of a lot of shows and a lot of video game series will always go for a darker story, because, you know, you have this grounded foundation of what it is, and then you have to build off of it, and they usually build off with more negativity coming in, and then with the OVA or the third game, or however you want to say it, comes in and just kind of lifts it back up like a vase, where, you know, it's a good foundation, and then it builds up, and then it closes in and builds out again. Where overall, I don't think you couldn't do this terribly if it was redone. I think it's just more of however you build it. It was going to be something like this either way. It's just how you would have gotten here. And overall, I will definitely say this. I'd definitely give it a recommendation to watch it. At least more for the first part. The second season isn't bad per se. I'm not saying it's bad, but I will say this: if you're not ready to kind of keep yourself inside the mindset of it, you're not going to kind of comprehend the second season as well. All of this for an hour. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I appreciate if you've watched all this far. Like, seriously, this was a big task for me, and this has been kind of the big project I've been kind of brewing for. You know, it was originally going to be something else, but I just decided to just do this because, you know, I was rewatching it. I can easily take notes and get everything situated, and pretty much, yeah, this was going to just be the big thing I was going to do for November and December. But hey, what are you going to do? It's finally out. I hope you all appreciate it. Hope you have a good time. Like, favorite, subscribe, or whatever. I have my link tree in the description. You all want to find me on my socials. Goodbye. I love you.